Hey guys, so today I have three interviews or maybe four interviews. So that's why I'm all dressed up because I want to look professional. In this video, I'm going to talk about my past experiences and what I have learned from each and every one of my past experiences, because I think those kind of experiences are very valuable, and I really learned a lot in the business of executive search or recruitment in general. So I hope my sharing will help you if maybe you are a recruitment professional or you're trying to break into this industry. Basically, I started as a researcher in this industry, which my I started as a researcher. So what I did on a daily basis was to conduct company research, conduct industry research, just to gather information about the landscape of the competition. And through this industry research and company research, I can easily, learn which companies are the top players in this within this industry landscape, and who are the major competitors of my clients in terms of the specialized products, maybe the sub industry, etc., etc. And based on the company research, I can get a bird view review, like a bird view insight of the organizational part of the company. So what are the business groups are there, which departments are there, what are the internal and external stakeholder of each department. So I managed to get those kind of insights from my industry and my company research. And then the other part of the research was really focused on the individual side. So you can also call it on the candidate screening side. So if you have the information about the industry, about the company, then when you apply the individual context into those two narratives, you can just get a grasp of how this candidate is doing based on his or her past experiences, judging by the company he works for, or maybe the task he has undertook, or the achievement he has accomplished. So that's what I have learned from my past research experience. But I felt like that wasn't enough. That wasn't good enough for me, because me as a researcher, I fully understand. I was fully aware that in the recruitment business, if you focus 100% of your time doing research, the job is bit of boring, because basically what you do is desktop research. You just sit in the office, you just find every information online, so it's boring. And the other thing is that there is a limit, there is a glass ceiling for you, because in recruitment business, research is the key to success. But you also need to get on more on the client side. So that means if you don't have clients, you there will be no one who is going to pay for you to do your research. So how to develop my own clients is very crucial for me to to become a senior consultant in this industry. And I also observed that a lot of recruiter, they basically conduct cold call every day to like 100 company, or maybe less, like 20 companies per day, because that's one part of their KPI. But the results are not good, because in their mind, they believe that if you conduct more calls every day, eventually gradually there will be results. But in reality, that depends, because developing clients is one thing, but how to how to get the client's attention, how to make them believe you are the perfect recruiter for them, is the key to develop a client. And in this business, we also think about the outcome of each client. So if you only have this client, if you sign the contract, but you don't know how to maintain, how to manage the relationship, the generation of your client won't show up very good. So I also wanted to develop my skills in managing and developing the relationship with my clients. So those two are the main focus of areas of improvement of me. So at first I didn't know how to do it. So I started by cold calling to clients, but I did think differently. So I have made up my mind that I want to focus my energy in this industry. So and I had profound experience in industry research and company research. So easily I know, which players are the major ones in this industry. So that means I will focus my time targeting on them from the beginning, and just to try my luck. And if things doesn't work out, I can always simultaneously develop some of the smaller ones or middle or medium-sized ones in the niche market. So I did both, and in the end, I think in the first year I managed to develop 4 clients, and these 4 clients eventually generated enough business to to support myself as a consultant in this business. And I think within the first year of me being a full cycle consultant, I managed to strengthen my skills in the research side, to continue my research, to continue my skills in the candidate sourcing, the candidate assessment, interview, etc. And I learned the capability of from the client side. So that's basically what I have achieved within the first year of my recruitment career as a full cycle consultant. But I wasn't feeling enough, because I was also feeling that what I did on a daily basis was very operational. So I can get the numbers easily, year after year. But then I ask myself, if I continue doing this, in the future, should I have maybe another glass ceiling? Because basically I have my skills developed on a daily basis. How about but how can I see myself in 10 years in this business? So I started to do a lot of self-reflection, and I realized the operational side of the recruitment business just wasn't good enough for me. So I started to think of things in a more strategic way, just to get a my view out of my comfort zone, and to see the whole talent landscape in a more strategic way. And I was also think of how I could achieve the excellence in what I do. How to get the most out of the candidates, how to get the most of the clients. Because if you think about it, in each job we do, the job categories are quite different. But if you think of it, it's more. I think it all get back down to productivity. So that means you can calculate your ROI, your return on investment, by dividing them into your maybe hourly salary, or maybe your daily input, and then you can just you can anticipate your financial gain, or maybe your other gain, your other output, on a yearly basis. So what I did to think strategically or do strategically was that I started to think about the whole talent landscape. Of course, you have to think about the industry where you you do most of your research, you do most of your businesses. So I started to think who are the key talents, who are the key candidate groups within my industry. It's because I deal with them on a daily basis. So without them, I cannot get any clients. I cannot get any revenue. So they are they are one of the two most influential stakeholder of me. So I think the other one is the clients. So I started to think about who they are. So maybe you can identify them as their function, as their seniority, or even the geographic scope they cover. So if you think about that, you can just ask yourself the following questions, who they are and where do they come from, and how do you reach them, how do you manage them, how do you build a relation with them. And I think to reach an excellence in what you do, you have to combine all the competence, like all the factors I mentioned, how to integrate your research with your candidates and your clients, just to generate I think, how do you put it, just to generate long-term business, because I have to think about how can I transfer my candidates into clients, how do I gain more business from my clients, etc. So I can give you one example. When you are doing executive search on a senior level, because I know a lot of people, they call them as an executive recruiter or executive search consultant, but what they do is more focused on the middle to senior level, like a manager, senior manager, or director level. But if you really think of the executive candidates from your target company, we're really talking about the ones who are senior director or director, VP, or the CXOs, or even the board directors. So if you really think about those kind of candidates, you can and you apply my insights on the strategic way of thinking, and how to reach them, how to manage them. I would advise you to see them, or at least see their career as more like a fluid, like a growth way. So when you see their career background, we usually start with their education. So usually those kind of talents, they graduate from some sort of school, or some kind of university, that are quite similar. So for example, if you are looking for a CEO in a tech or engineering company, out of 100 times, maybe 90 times, they come from a well known, maybe engineering school or science school from maybe a US or European top university. So that is like one of the like the law or pattern you could find. And if they are really at the highest level of their organization, in general, I would say there is a high chance they have had some sort of MBA or EMBA education, maybe in Europe. I think the majority is from France, such as HEC Paris or INSEAD. And if you look into the US, it's usually the Magic 7 or other MBA or EMBA schools in the US, but with a very good reputation of educating the next generation leaders. So that can be, so if you try to assess the leadership skills, you can just look at their education background, and you can just get a hint what they want to achieve when they were at a younger age. So that's the pattern we could find based on their education background. And when we are doing the senior level executive search, you could also find some patterns uh, based on the target company. So usually, I think 9 out of 10 times your client would ask you to, or at least you as a search consultant, you have to form your own target company in order to get the most talents. So the target company are usually the blue chip companies within the industry where your clients are operating in. Or if the things doesn't work, you can propose an alternative target company list, which are usually I think it's the other major players within a niche market that are similar to the industry your client operates in. Uh, and also, I think there are other ways of formulating the target company. I think this way might be very helpful when your search is very, very difficult, because sometimes you have done your exhaustive search from the target company, basically the direct competitor or the major competitors from a niche market, but the result won't wasn't good enough because the client might have um, more requirements on the soft skill side. So in this case, I would advise you to take a look at the ecosystem of the business your client is operating on. So you can just take a look at. um, um, I think previously I mentioned about the competitor. Of course, that is one part of the ecosystem. But you can also take a look at maybe the competitor, the contractor, or maybe the clients, the customers of your clients, and you can just think of maybe who else could be in the same ecosystem where your client is in. So let's take an example. Maybe you are trying to find a CEO of a restaurant chain company. So maybe you are trying to find a CEO for McDonald's or KFC, and you have done all the mapping, from their competitor in a food and restaurant or catering business, but still there is no placement. So in this case, I would advise you to take a look at the ecosystem of McDonald's or KFC. So you can take a look at maybe their supplier, who supply their machinery, who supply their meat, who supply their ingredients. I think there are. I think in this way you can you can draw up a longer target list because they operate in the same business. They operate as their suppliers. So maybe somehow they will, I think from the hard skills side, it's more or less relevant. And from the soft skill side, they might deal with the same customers, the same players within this ecosystem of restaurant business. So that is one way of seeing your target company. And the other way is that you can also think of the business setting KFC or McDonald's are operating. So they basically, I think they have some self-owned restaurants, and on top of that, they have some franchisees, which are usually they I think they cooperate with maybe local entrepreneurs, and they open up their business. But in general, whether they are their self-owned stores or their franchisees restaurants, they I think they both choose their location within the shopping malls or within the center of the crowd of a city. So you can just think of that as your ecosystem. So you can think of who else who else have stores or who else operates closely, I mean physically close to McDonald's. So maybe you can find out, oh yeah, they're, next to KFC or McDonald's. We usually find out, other food chains or restaurant chains such as Starbucks or Costa Coffee. But we have covered that. But you can also think of, within this shopping mall, you can also find some supermarkets or some grocery store or chain store, some retail store, even fashion. So I think in this business, it could be, there could be some similarities. So that's how I would advise you, to think strategically of where to source your candidate, where they come from. So if you have the longer candidate list, you can apply your candidate assessment skills to, just to assess the candidates to see if they could be, a potential fit for the position you're looking for. So I think that's what I have learned, and I would say in the end the results are very, very amazing. So I guess I think that the first year I become a consultant, I managed to I managed to, to collect something around 100,000 US dollar, or maybe higher than that, as my fee. And, considering when I didn't have any client relationship or business development experience prior, I think that could be a satisfying result of my first year financial achievement. And the second year, I think the second year I achieved 300,000 US dollar in revenue. So basically my business tripled. No, it's actually 3 times, I think. Yeah, but it's somewhere like twice the size, between twice the size to 3 times of the size. And the third year, I think the result is the same, because I was thinking about how I should achieve excellence, and I was also managing a small team. But then I realized, I wasn't a very good people manager, because I still don't know how to manage my own people, my own team. I don't know how to develop them. I mean, at least from the hard skill side, I tried my best. I devote my time, I invest my energy and my passion in developing them, but still I don't think I'm a good people manager. So I think that is all I want to share of my my gains, my insights of being a consultant for 3 or 4 years. I think my achievement is it's quite reasonable within this industry, and I hope my sharing can help you. So a bientôt. If you have any questions, just leave a comment below, and I will try to answer them as soon as possible. So thank you. Au revoir.